All right. Well, it looks like I've got sound and I'm live, so hopefully everyone will find me. Welcome to Stampin' Presentation by CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am located in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I appreciate you joining me, whether you're watching me live or catching me on the replay. Make sure you drop me a comment. Really like to see who's here and get to chat with you a little bit as I'm demonstrating some different techniques. So as you know, this is the third in my series of watercoloring classes. And if you would like to receive the card kits for the 3 cards that I've demonstrated, then I would be happy to get those to you. You just need to place a $35 order in my online store and use the host code that I will pop into the description of this video afterward. So those usually go out right at the start of the next month. So just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. I also have a class coming up on September 19th. That is my regular monthly class. And pretty sure I'm doing something Halloween and something birthday, and then I haven't decided on the third one. So you won't want to miss that. And then the paper pumpkin for September will be a spooky treats theme. And so it's got some really fun colors. It's typical, orange and black, but then also some purples and gray and a little bit of kind of an orangey yellow. So I think that's going to be really fun. Each paper pumpkin will make 18 treat boxes. Hey mom, thanks for being here. So that's really quite a lot. It's 3 different designs, and I can give you the dimensions if you need them. They're not huge, so that's always nice too. Hey, Janie. So I will include a link for how to subscribe for that if you aren't already. It is also still celebration, which means that for every $50 order you place, you can earn free products from our celebration catalog. And there are some really great ones, and there are also some things that have already sold out. So as I think we've talked about before, anything celebration is while supplies last. And so you want to make sure that if there's something that you really want, you get it fast. I do know that we have 2 weeks left, so there's no telling what will happen in the next couple of weeks, but we still have almost everything, just not the soft seafoam card bases and the tree lot dies. So I also, let me see, I think that's pretty much everything else. I do have a winner for last week, and Susan, that is you, so I'm glad you're here. So you will get the card that I made last week that watercolored on the embossing folder. So congratulations. If you like and share my videos, and make sure you drop shared in the description, or in the comment thread, then I will enter you in a drawing so that you have a chance to win the card that I make tonight. So you're welcome. Let's see, a bunch of links that will get popped up into this afterwards. The only thing that is coming but not in the information that I have typed up is that I am doing a Christmas class series. So this will be in person and virtual. And the first class will be September 17th, which is a Saturday. And it is going to focus on, I think, I should probably check this. I'm planning to use that new cozy kit that came up. And let me just pop over and make sure it's not already sold out. Let's see here. Oh no, we still have it. So it's called Cozy and Bright. So I will be getting information on all of that out to you on next Monday, which will be my regular weekly email. If you aren't already receiving my emails, make sure that you sign up for those because you'll also receive dimensions for the card that I make tonight. So I think that's everything. So I'm going to switch the view here. And so again, this is the card from last week. to another year. So I thought this was really nice, and it used the Rings of Love Designer Series paper, which is free. And for tonight, I am going to use mostly the Trees for Sale, which is not a free item, but it is a great stamp set. I love the way the trees can be really textury with the two-step stamping. And then I'm also going to use a sentiment from the Hippest Hippos because, "Aw, you really are the best" is one of my favorite things to say. So those are the stamps for tonight. So I'm going to show you first the other samples that I made. So this one uses actually the leaf from the Hello Ladybug, I think is what it's called. And I just really loved the leaf. And then I thought that this would be such a nice fall combination with the specialty paper here. So I don't know how much you can see, but it's not quite glimmer paper, but it does have texture to it. And it is just really fun. And oranges are not my colors, but I love this card. It turned out really nicely. So that is the first sample. And the technique tonight is faux watercoloring. So this one I used, I want to say the stamps are from Lovely Day or Lovely You, Lovely something, Lovely You, and the sentiment as well. And then this is the Butterfly Designer Series paper that's in the annual catalog. And it is just so pretty and bright and happy. So I thought this was a good one. And then finally, the one that we will actually make tonight is this one. And so what I wanted to do here was use that tree in a way that wasn't Christmas. So this is actually Designer Series paper. It's a little bit hard to tell that it's anything other than cardstock just because the ombre effect that is on it is a lot more visible on a larger piece of the paper. But I still think that it looks really nice on here. And then we use some polished pink and some black and our watercolor paper. So with that, let's get going. Theoretically, tonight will be sort of short because Emily is upstairs by herself doing who knows what. So I don't feel great about just leaving her to her own devices because that girl will get up to things. But you know, you might get to see her or she might actually stay put. Well, good, Janie. I'm glad you like this color combo. I thought it was a little bit different from some of what I do. So just burnish that card there. And now this is really simple. Just a quick little mat. You could also cut a big chunk of this out and use it for something else. I just didn't because I wasn't thinking that far ahead. So we'll just be honest about what my reasoning was there. So, all right, so we're just gonna get some glue going, and you can see how this one has the pattern on the back. I think this is the Pretty Prince Designer Series paper, and I don't know, maybe that would go with the tree. Maybe we should use that side. So we'll just change this up a little bit. So, but I do love this Bermuda Bay color. So Janie, yeah, prayers, all the good vibes, anything you can send me. This girl's a handful. She was very distraught that I wouldn't read just one more story after I'd already read 3, I think. So she's something else, but her daddy and her brother are off on an adventure this evening, so it's girls at home. All right. So this layout that I used for all 3 of these cards too is one of my favorites. It's super simple, but I think that you can get a lot of mileage out of it. And just, oh, you know, I should have done that slightly differently, but it's going to be okay. Just get some variety in your cards because I do occasionally start to feel like things are a little stale and I'm just doing the same basic thing over and over. So what I have here are just 3 little strips, and this is why I should have not already glued that, but I'm pretty sure I can fix it. So what I do to make this sort of simple is I'm going to use my grid paper here. So I'm just going to line this up and then I kind of get a little bit of glue on here and pick which lines I'm shooting for. Of course, I'm making a mess, so things are sticking. But yes, that does look like it went on straight, so that's a good start. So I'm really excited about my Christmas series. I'm planning to do the kit to kind of get us warmed up, and then a Stamp-A-Stack, so everybody will leave with 12 to 16 cards. So, you know, you're really well on your way for Christmas cards. I don't know how many normal people send out. I don't send a ton, but enough that it's worth doing. And I like to have a few left over just in case there's somebody that I spaced, you know, get that to them. So, all right, so that is that. And suddenly everything looks crooked. I don't know, you guys. I think it's going to be fun. Hey, Aunt Pat, thanks for being here. So now I am just going to come over and snip these. And again, this is much easier if you don't adhere the black piece first. So word of warning, do it right, not, what is the saying? Do as I say, not as I do. So yeah. Okay, so the next thing is the actual watercoloring portion. So I just have a stylish shapes circle in watercolor paper. And I have my Stampin' Spritzer filled with water. And I am just going to soak this paper so you can see there is a lot of water on there. And now I don't want actual drips of water. So I am going to shake that off, get that cleaned up just a little bit. But I want it to be nice and wet. And then I've got my Bermuda Bay ink pad and my little Christmas tree stamp, or pine tree. We'll just call it a pine tree tonight. So I do think that this works best with solid stamps rather than with line art stamps, just so you kind of have an idea of what you're doing as you're picking out your images. And now I don't want quite that much of a glob there, so I'm just going to dab that off, and you could certainly use just regular paper towel for that as well. I'm going to set that off to the side and let it dry for a minute and bring in another piece of watercolor paper and the sentiment stamp. So I think I want to go to this side. Stamp that on there. Beautiful. All right, and now I'm just going to trim this piece down a touch. So we'll bring in my contraband guillotine again and get it lined up in here. So this is going to end up being just about 3/4 of an inch wide. There we go. Pop that out of there, and then I'm going to flag the end. I'm pretty sure last week I showed you how to flag the end with your scissors. So I'm going to go back to my preferred method, which is just a little bit easier, and use this pick a banner punch. And of course, it's easier when the strip is slightly longer, but you can always use a post-it extender. And there we have our sentiment. I think that looks pretty good. And now this is pretty wet. So I am, for expediency's sake, going to use my also contraband heat tool. And we're just going to dry this a little bit so that we can proceed. So hopefully you're all having a good week. We are back to crazy high temperatures, and kids have started school and soccer has started. Our schools, the elementary schools, don't have central air conditioning. They just have swamp coolers, and those only really drop the temperature about 20 degrees. So when it's 100 degrees, you're still talking 80 in a classroom. And so these poor kids, they're tough. But Jonah seems really happy to be back to school, so I guess the heat's not bothering him as much as it might be. But it does seem like we're getting close to that time of the year when the heat is going to start letting up, so I'm hopeful. I am going to New Orleans next week for Stampin' Up's leaders development training. And so I'm very excited about that. But, you know, here in Utah, it is hot and dry for the most part. So I am not looking forward to the same heat with a whole bunch of humidity piled on. So it's a good thing we'll be in real air conditioning for a lot of the time. All right, so I decided for this one, because, you know, we're just changing everything, that I am going to bring in this line image stamp now and go same ink color, just to give my tree a little bit more definition. So it's really subtle, but I do think that that will make it look nice. And now we are just going to pop these pieces on just like that. And what's great about having a sentiment strip, I don't know why that bled more there. I don't really care for that, but our little strip is just going to cover that right up. So I'm going to get some dimensionals for this. And I seem to be out of the big ones, so we're going to go with the teeny tiny ones today, because that's just the way things go. I have been doing a lot less crafting of late because the businessy side of things is really slowing me down, so I can't find anything. Sorry, I think I just bumped the camera. All right, so get this on here nicely. And then this I'm just gonna add with glue. So yeah, I did not know, as far as the AC, that that was even allowed for schools. And Murray's schools are definitely old and in need of some updating. The high school is reasonably new, and one of the junior highs is brand new. And so I think that they are getting ready to start overhauling the elementary schools. They just haven't quite gotten there. So, all right. The last thing that we're going to do is bring in some of the in color opal rounds. Sweaty, stinky kids, yes. Oh my gosh, I don't know how elementary school teachers do it. It just seems like more than I could handle. So lots and lots of respect for all of them. All right, and I'm just going to use the little pink ones, although the nice thing about these opals is that I think they really blend well with whatever you are using. So like this is theoretically soft succulent, but I think it would go great here. And then this is the fresh freesia that would also look nice. So just a little side note, but those opal rounds are fantastic. And that is the card, you guys. So I'm going to bring back in everything And I personally think the one we made tonight turned out much better than my sample. So that's a nice surprise because it does not always go that way. So I hope that you love these cards. If you have any questions, let me know, and look for the measurements of all the different pieces in your weekly email on Monday. And I'm just going to switch my lights and switch my cameras. And all right. Well, thank you all for being here. I really enjoyed our time together. And I will not be live next week because I will be traveling, but I will have a paper pumpkin alternate card for you. And it'll just be pre-recorded, but my paper pumpkin came today, so I'm excited to get into that. And it actually has kind of a watercolor feel to it too, so it goes really nicely with this series. So I hope you have a wonderful evening and a very nice weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, you guys. Bye.